San Diego State played bully ball, body bag basketball. They had a short period of time to prepare for New Mexico, and they jumped them. And the Aztecs won a game they had to win. Brian Dutcher ran the offense through the bigs. I had written a column on Monday morning about New Mexico coming to town, and I said they had to run the offense through Heidi and Coleman Jones, and they did early. And I said the backcourt had to play out of their mind defensively to disrupt everything New Mexico was trying to do, and they did. They forced turnovers. They made New Mexico strictly a three-point shooting team, which they're not. They stopped their running game, and the Aztec just physically pummeled them along the way. I thought it was a great game plan. What a job by Brian Dutcher to institute it on short notice after the Guath knee injury and to get these guys to buy in. That first 10 minutes of that game, that was the best we've seen Heidi play in his entire career. I mean, he was a physical force, and he's only a sophomore. And obviously, Coleman Jones is a transfer. Came out of, I don't know, Tennessee Tech, Tennessee State.
Tennessee State.
Okay, Ohio Valley Conference. But he's got athletic skills. And they moved him to big forward, and he hit threes. He had all kinds of shots outside, batted a few balls away too. And they absolutely destroyed everything that Richie Pitino tried to do with his offense at New Mexico. I mean, they made Dent, their great guard, disappear for a whole first half. And yeah, they hit a few threes early, and then the whole thing went away because they could not penetrate. They could not get their offense in gear. I mean, they were moving the ball around the arc because they couldn't get good looks, and they had to heave a three out of desperation. It was a phenomenal, phenomenal win for San Diego State without Guath. Now, they got to go to Wyoming. Won't be easy, but they got more athletes than Wyoming has. And they've got grit. They got determination. And we'll see what the therapy with the big man Guath is going to be like. At the end of the day, it's a hyperextension. It's not a bone bruise, which takes an enormous amount of time to recover from. It's not a torn meniscus, which is worse. And it's not the all-time worst scenario, which would have been a torn knee ligament. But hell of a coach. What Brian Dutcher does from an X and O standpoint to create certain situations against certain teams, just absolutely amazing.
It is incredible. And you know, they were doing something where they were bringing up like all their posts up, and then they were peeling off, you know, kind of just moving around those screens. So they have plans for everything, which is amazing. But you talked about Miles Heidi. He stepped up big time. You can see the confidence in this young man, that he was realizing his strength and his athletic ability, and he's got the footwork down low with the left hand, making the shots. Coleman Jones has got that step back, behind the back, three-point shot. It was like smooth as silk. That was wonderful to see. You know, Miles Byrd was terrific. I mean, this was a great game against a great team. Donovan Dent is incredibly fast. Did you notice that? I mean, he can change speeds. He's unbelievable. But the Dutchers' plan shut down Nelly Jr. Joseph, and I think that made a big difference.
Well, I think the other factor is Lobos don't have three players that made them stars last year. Those guys have all gone other places. Thank you, NIL. So, I mean, Pitino really had his hands tied, but the Aztecs took them apart, and they just played with great passion. And obviously, you know, these kids they get electrified when they play in front of that lunatic fringe. Those sorority guys got a lot of time on their hands at San Diego State, the ones that sit in the end zone seats, the show. But just a monster win. So this can propel them into the Mountain West Conference tournament. We'll probably need another week to find out whether or not Guath is going to be able to come back. And that's a whole different set of circumstances when they get to the Mountain West tournament. But that was a huge win because it's going to give them a bye probably going in. And that's.
I think they can win the tournament. I mean, I really do.
Oh, you're doing this podcast with your heart.
Well, I'm doing with my head too. The Aztecs are playing so much better right now. They've proved they can beat just about anybody but Utah State.
But there won't be a Viejas. That'd be more neutral court than you're giving.
No, that's Viejas East out there at the Thomas and Mack.
So you say. Okay, that's all things Aztec basketball. Hell of a job by that coach with a game plan with all the problems that they've had.